What does it do, you all? Yeah, enough with that. Um, Anyways, what's up, everyone? I'm Charles Medley, and today we are continuing the saga of Eric and Thomas. We are going to start with how they met. How did Eric and Thomas meet that led to such a toxic friendship? Well, I'll put it this way. All right, hold on. I'm having a lot of trouble reading this. All right, this is how it was given. Thomas's best friend's girlfriend's best friend had a boyfriend named Eric. They met at Thomas's best friend's girlfriend's graduation party. Eric was actually a pretty cool guy. He was, very outgoing. Had a very polite smile on his face. You just kind of knew that he didn't mean any trouble. He definitely didn't mean any trouble. Thomas later learned that Eric's girlfriend, which is, Thomas's best friend's girlfriend's best friend, was only 14 and Eric was 17. All right, that's a little weird because, obviously they've been together for a little while now and it seems a little serious between them. So, what happens when he turns 18 and she turns 15? Exactly. So, this said a lot about Eric, but not enough. See, Thomas was 19 at the time and didn't really read too deep into that. Eventually, they broke up, while Eric was still 17, so I guess it didn't get that bad. Fast forward, Thomas learned that Eric was into the same kind of music that he was, as Eric also learned the same thing about Thomas. When Thomas turned about 21 and Eric turned 19, they became friends. Pretty cool friends, actually, pretty decent. And they, had little jam sessions here and there with a couple other mutual friends. I'm gonna call them Nathan and Todd. All right. So Nathan and Todd, Eric and Thomas. Yeah, they'd have little jam sessions here and there, and things took a very dark turn when Eric's best friend Nathan passed away. Thomas stuck by Eric's side until Eric got through this very terrible trial in life. Because of this tragedy and also the breakup between Eric and his girlfriend, because apparently just finding out they were on and off. Well, Eric, started smoking some things, some green things, if you know what I mean. And Thomas knew that something wasn't right about that. At the time, the stuff was, pretty well known as, terrible stuff, and Thomas definitely knew that it wasn't exactly good for you. It did make you pretty stupid. It does make you pretty stupid. And Eric was definitely using it in a very stupid manner. So Thomas was trying to talk him out of it. Look, man, just it's not worth it. And Eric said, I know, I know it's not right. I'm just gonna finish this, this bag, and then I'm done. Thomas is like, all right, good, so you at least do acknowledge that the stuff isn't good for you. Yes, I acknowledge. It's, it's definitely not good. Good. Because, because I know some friends who've said the same thing that you're saying, that it is bad and that they want to stop. And then later on, they just completely went back on what they said. Oh, no, I will never go back on what I said. And that was the back and forth conversation between Eric and Thomas about the fun green stuff. So Thomas marked the date and time of that conversation. It was 1 a.m. of 2011. And look, I'm gonna tell you right now, this stuff is not deadly, all right? I'm not sitting here trying to condemn it, and Thomas wasn't sitting there trying to make it sound like all the much stronger stuff that's out there. He was just looking out for his best friend, who he began to look at as his little brother, and didn't want him spiraling down into this unhealthy life of, smoking that stuff. Or even worse, because the way he was using it to try to get through a tough time in his life, maybe a gateway, what. So during the time that Thomas knew about Eric smoking, and during the time, and even a little before, Thomas was starting to notice that the things that were once funny to Eric, like Thomas, for example, grabbing a hat off of Eric's dresser and pretending to be somebody else, right? And Eric would laugh at that, where a few months later, now Thomas grabs the same hat off the same dresser, and now Eric's just kind of like, yeah, do you really have to touch things in my room though? Like, do you really have to do that? you know and it was starting to that's when things were starting to spiral down, and actually, believe it or not, pretty fast. And the longer they became friends, the more Thomas started coming around, the more Eric started getting irritated. They would Eric would play a pretty awesome tune on his guitar, and Thomas would be like, dude, that sounds great. Instantly, he'd hop on Eric's computer, and start trying to find like a beat for it, right? Back then that was all right, and Eric was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. All of a sudden, now it's not. Eric called Thomas up like 2 weeks later to complain about that, saying, it just irks me though, man. Like I'm not yelling at you or anything. It just irks me that you did that. Eric was holding grudges against Thomas for small things like that. And a lot of that has to do with his mom. Let's talk about his mom. Eric's mom was a crazy Karen, all right? I mean, she was two-faced. She was a two-faced Karen, but she was so Karen that she couldn't exactly hide it. It just came out. She would complain about everything. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. She never complained to Thomas about it, but she would complain to Eric about it. And then Thomas would come over, and then there was just this really bad, very unwelcoming energy in the room. And he knew there was only one person in that room that was bringing that energy. Thomas only stayed one night at that house. And then after that, he didn't spend any more nights for a very long time, roughly a year. Thomas was barely over there anyways. Thomas went over there probably once a month. And in that time, he would spend 2 nights there, which was fine until like a year into the friendship. And then all of a sudden, now it's a huge problem. Now it's like, is Thomas having problems at home, Eric? Not that I know of. His mom was very, very, very stubborn. And like Eric explained that you could literally hold a picture or a video of the rock solid, inarguable evidence in front of her face, and she would still argue about it. Thomas knew that things had to change. Thomas had to start making this less frequent. Showing up, maybe once or twice a year rather than once or twice a month. Eric's dad was more the cool parent. His dad was, the guy who just kind of let Eric do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. This is where things start getting a little awkward. Thomas shows up at Eric's house, and Eric has a girl in his room. Thomas didn't know how old she was, but he knew that she was still in school. Thomas saw Eric, and I'm gonna call her Miley Skinner. All right, Miley Skinner. Eric and Miley Skinner were cuddling and holding hands. Thomas looks at them and says, "So, are you guys dating now?" Little upset, and so they just kind of like separated, let go of hands and stop cuddling. And later, Eric walks up to Thomas and says, "Hey man, you kind of made things a little awkward. I don't appreciate you doing that." Again, Thomas didn't really read too deep into that, because 16 or 17, he's thinking with, his 19-year-old friend Eric. It's not terrible, but there are some legal factors in there that could definitely ruin Eric's life. And it's just like, dude, come on, have some common sense. And Thomas didn't have any idea how young she really was, which is why they remained friends for so long. It wasn't until recently that Thomas found out that she was only 13 years old. Thomas, is thinking like, dude, how old is she? Oh, but she's mature for her age. Just because a baby bird has wings doesn't mean that it's ready to fly yet. This isn't what Thomas said, because Thomas was 21, and so he wasn't really that clever with his words. And believe it or not, that's what Eric capitalized on too, was that Thomas wasn't very quick with comebacks. Eric was pretty quick with it, because like that's kind of the only life he knew was how to stomp on people and walk on people and make them feel bad about themselves for anything, even good things, in which you're gonna learn how he used that against Thomas. I mean, how Thomas is actually living a pretty healthy life, a pretty, I won't say successful, but for a young guy, living pretty healthy, financially, and how Eric managed to make Thomas feel a need to defend himself, defend his character, because he makes money. We'll get to that in the next video. Anyways, that's all the time I have for you. I'm Charles Medley, and remember, treat people good, man. Treat people with respect, because we're all people, and we're all just trying to get through this miserable torture chamber called life. All right, anyways, that's all. Have a great day. God bless.